Hey there, it's Ben from Pattern Profits bringing you the weekend update and weekly watch list for the week of January 10th. We're starting with IWO, proxy for small cap growth, and it didn't put up much of a fight there, trying to hold the bottom of this range and channel that it's been in for about a year and did slice below. Now this anchored VWAP goes to back to the COVID lows. That looks like the next area that I'd watch for support. If we look at FFTY, another one that we like to look at, you're closer to that anchored VWAP off of the COVID low, and the bottom of that channel comes in just a little bit lower. And then again, PDP was another one that was holding up well, and it failed here. That anchored VWAP had held a couple times off of the swing low back here in March, and that gave way late last week. Tried to hold on Thursday, and then Friday gave way. COVID lows on that one down here, anchored VWAP. So not looking good in growth land, but things can change quickly. So we keep them on the radar and see how they act. Getting into the watch list, got to look outside of growth, and MT in steel, double bottom pattern 3488. The pivot there, you're right up against it. 3481 was the close. So looking for that to push out through there. Again, that's MT. Same group, and we've had this one on the radar for a while, FCX. You're still dancing right around that 4160 pivot. Hasn't made much progress. 4188 closed out last week. Still looking for the run there back to the prior high, 4610. So need to see some upside progress there. Tried to go midweek, but came right back in. New was another one, NUE, that we saw similar action with. Can also look to some of the coal names. Arch Resources is one. This one, VWAP pinch, and came out of there and just kind of moving sideways now. 96.53 standard pivot. Let me bring volume by price over a little bit closer, and you can kind of see how it's building out that volume shelf right there just below point of control right there. 10, 20, and 50 cloud just below price too. So looking for that one to make the turn. Again, 96.53 the pivot there. Same group can look at MET-C, Ramaco Resources. This one also a pinch type setup. This is anchored VWAP year to date, but going back to 2021. And when we come through that, out of that pinch, usually come back and retest. It came a little bit lower, but now you've got 10, 20, 50 cloud all right there. So looking for that to still come out of that pinch. You notice that little red line. Will zoom in a little bit more. That's this year's year-to-date anchored VWAP. So you'd want to get above there too, kind of acting like resistance here early in the year. So back above that anchored VWAP from off of the high and out of this little consolidation here, back above year-to-date, may be able to climb the right side there. He did have a couple pocket pivots there, and then heavier volume on that sell-off on Wednesday, and then trying to reclaim on Friday. Also, another group that, a lot of attention to oil and gas names, financials, a lot of attention to those regional banks and what they're doing. Not many talking about the hotels. You got a couple of them setting up nicely. This is Marriott, little cup with handle. And if you zoom out, it's part of a much bigger consolidation here that it already came out of, and now forming another little cup with handle pattern here. 170, 168, the standard pivot above. Could use a few more days going sideways. That's MAR, but the reason I mentioned, you got another one looks similar in Hilton, HGV, another one forming that little cup. Same thing. If you zoom out, you'll see it's part of a bigger pattern. It's had a nice run too, and not many eyes on the hotels nearly as much as like I said, the financials, regional banks, oil and gas, steel, Metals, miners, those getting a lot more attention. Not many talking about the resorts. So 56.33 standard pivot here worth keeping an eye on. Again, that's Hilton Grand Vacations HGV. Speaking of oil and gas, looking at Oxy, and you have a standard pivot up here 35.75 coming up the right side. Couple good volume pocket pivots on the way up. Now you're double inside here. So what we look for there coming out of this little triangle, if that comes out to the upside, maybe it gives you early entry ahead of that 35.75 standard pivot. So you'd want to see that come out to the upside. Looking at Friday's high, 33.42. So over 33.42 gets that inside coming out. You'd also get back above volume shelf put control. Let me zoom out just a little bit more with this, so you can see a little bit more of the action. There we go. So want to be able to make that turn, get above here. You get in this window up here, very little volume up here, but got to get out of this consolidation little triangle first, make that turn. Then you're in good shape to challenge that 35.75 standard pivot above. One more to look at. This one already broke out last week. ESTE, and again in oil and gas, this is Earthstone Energy. Cup handle pattern came out through 1260 was the standard pivot. Then you had 1315 was the high. You pushed into new highs there, then came right back, retested the pivot, bounced, and ended up closing right at that prior high, 1315. So just want to see if this can make further upside progress. Some good big green volume bars. That's what we like to see as we come up the right side. So just want to see if this can make some progress. As always, when watching those oil and gas names, keep an eye on oil and keep an eye on the rest of the group, because they do tend to all move together in energy. That's all I have. Hope you have a great trading week, and I will see you over on FinTwit.